Welcome, welcome. So I randomly am just doing this for fun. You may hear some water in the background because I my fish tanks are running and whatnot. And if you're curious of why I sound like this, I've been a wee bit sick, with the weather and all that. So I'm just gonna, you know, go through the chances and whatnot, blah blah blah. And since I figured everybody's going through this storm, or mostly everybody that I know so far, so y'all are gonna be a-okay. Y'all are gonna be a-right. Oh, what is this going on here? I don't know. Something happened. Anywho, original plan here. We're gonna be reading Human Fnaf X Listener book 3 up in here. So there's a lot of background to this like whole story thing. If you guys have not seen the series at all or anything of that kind, I highly suggest y'all go and check out the playlist and blah blah blah. Probably by the end or during this live, because I completely forgot to put it in the description. But if you look through the channel, you'll be easily able to find it. It's pretty new. I think it has at least 2 to 3 videos, so it should be relatively easy to go through. Unlike like Yandere slashers type stuff, because that, oh my, that is something that not even I could be like, yeah, no, yeah, mm-mm. So that's what we're gonna get head into. We are currently in chapter 30, but we're going to quickly go back a chapter for the purpose of the recap, which is chapter 29. It's pretty simple how this goes. So if y'all don't remember, because this is going to be a little bit of an interesting backstory since so much happened within 1 to 2 chapters, like completely flip switch type stuff. So long story short, you end up finding out that Goldie came back. Somehow magically, they missed a dosage and his shit. And he booked it, left, came to the pizzeria, found you, ended up, unbeknownst to you yet, fighting, I think, 2 to 3 of the animatronics, whooping their ass, before finding you and blah blah blah. Uh you ended up, I think, in the midst after all that kind of happened, everything kind of cooled down. You passed out, arrived at your house, um, and whatnot. And then eventually, when you got a call from Chica, and she was like, "Girl, what happened? What's going on? Why is this? Why are they on the floor? Why are they looking like, it was a whole lot of stuff." And you were like, "You know what? Curious. I don't know why either." So you're going ahead. You don't particularly want to be upfront with Goldie and say straight up, "Oh my God, I care for the toy animatronics again." Because of all the bad beef you had in the last couple other books that sadly are not published, were not republished, or I don't think are going to be republished. But anyways, oh, hi y'all, by the way. Hi y'all. Okay, I just saw some of the chats. Sorry, I'm seeing them sometimes a little late. I'm still new to this whole live stream stuff, but hey everyone, it's nice to see y'all here, and I appreciate for y'all staying with me. But I gotta lock in on this read, or we're gonna stay here forever. Okay, hold on. So, uh, this is why I write it down. This is why I write it down. Okay, so you end up going to the pizzeria, trying to figure out what's going on with the toys. You during the day, keep in mind, this is all during the day. You go in and try and figure out what's going on, what happened to them. You find out that the backup animatronics that are on stage are not them. You end up finding Mangle. Didn't really end so well. Well, Goldie got curious as to somehow magically how the hell did this relationship change. Um, and well, he found out. Yeah, had a very, it's slightly, it's not really intensive. It's like a deep talk because they've been kidnapped and gone for so It's really complicated. That's all I know. That's all I get from this at this point. It's just really a complicated like friendship, relationship, whatever she's having. It is insanely complicated, more than like I could understand. So that's why I'm like, don't think about it too hard, ladies and gentlemen. It's just hard. Oh, this is Human Fnaf X Listener Potential Marathon. This whole fan fiction like has a whole backstory. Originally, it had three books. I believe 3 to 4 books. Two to three books got taken down, or got taken off of Wattpad. That's where originally I got them from, and yeah, it was kind of what the hell happened. It was crazy work. Originally, when I started this channel, I was just starting to read it. I think I read, I think some of mostly book one. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Anyways, uh, for forewarnings on these ones, to be honest, I don't know because I'm reading it like legit brand new, so I know as much as you guys know. So so we're about to find out the warnings. But my best guess for these warnings is going to be a lot of like um probably potential arguments, like immediately getting into it, probably a lot of like mental instability or just mental health issues. Probably slight mentions of torture if they bring up the FNAF 1 animatronics into this, and or potentially a lot of like just a lot of crocodile stuff, crocodile tears, and all sorts of stuff. So it's gonna be a little crazy. Well, we'll see though. Anyways, chapter 29, or hold on, chapter 30 actually. Sorry about that, Al. Sorry about that. Anyways, chapter 30. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and read this short thing from the author real quick. Let me see. Like I did with the lemon, for those of you who didn't read it, I'm going to be testing you in my chapters instead of I. Also, a reminder, lemon does have to be part of the story, so this isn't what you want. I'm going to write the chapter so it's too vague to tell what happened, and you can easily just ignore the lemon. It won't affect the story, not a big deal. I might do lemons for for the other originals when they all eventually come back, just to make it fair. Some same optional BS goes for them, and if I do end up making them. Okay, twin, hold on. That's crazy. Uh-huh. Interesting indeed. If there is a lemon, I will skip over it. So, just, we're all clear. Anyways, now, chapter 30. Your POV. The first thing you noticed when you woke up was how dark it was in your room. The lights were all off. Only the quickly fading light from outside your window allowed the minimal sight you had. Blech. Similar to the last time you woke up, Goldie was not with you. You laid in bed quietly, trying to listen for any sounds from downstairs in case he was in the living room. The only thing you heard was the low chirping of crickets outside your window. It was late. Sitting up, you rubbed the crust out of your eyes and looked towards the door. There was no light creeping up underneath it, and it was unusually quiet, even though it was just you and Goldie in your home at the moment. The house looked almost vacant, as if you were the only one there. You weren't, though. Goldie was there, somewhere downstairs, wasn't he? He had to be. You stood up out of bed, the floorboards beneath you creaking as you walked over to the door and headed downstairs. There were no lights on down there either. You moved carefully towards the light switch in the living room, a sharp pain in your wrist as you flicked it on. Looking down at your now bandaged wrist, you realize that Goldie must have mended the wound for you. It took a while for your eyes to adjust to the now brightly lit room, but when they did, you quickly realized that Goldie wasn't in there. Worriedly, you called out his name. Goldie? You got no response. You suddenly felt fear rush through you. Checking Quickly checking the rest of the room downstairs and finding no trace of the blonde, he was gone. You raced about the rest of your house, thinking that you might just have missed him and he was sleeping in one of the rooms, or maybe reading like he often liked to do when he had time. To your dismay, though, he wasn't anywhere in the house. As you passed your room again, you walked over to the opposite side of the bed where you had been sleeping, hoping that maybe you just accidentally kicked Goldie off the bed and he was on the floor somewhere. But he wasn't. Something didn't happen to him, right? Surely he wouldn't ever leave you without telling you. So something had to be terribly wrong. You looked up at the clock on your bedside table to see that you had been asleep for several hours after you and Goldie had both left the pizzeria after your encounter with Vincent. You didn't even remember falling asleep though, but you were sure you had. Vincent. He hadn't come back for Goldie, had he? Goldie was fine, wasn't he? He promised you. He had promised that he wouldn't ever leave you like that again. So, where was he? Girl probably cooked us for all we know. Suddenly, you heard a loud thud coming from downstairs, followed by a painful grunt. Knowing well that it was Goldie, you went to rush down and see what happened, but you froze when you realized that he was not alone. Take it slow, okay? You heard Goldie's voice speak softly. Then another voice groaned. It's not as easy as it sounds. You knew that voice. Tears jumped to your eyes. Your heart beat audible in your ears as your heart thumped against your ribcage rapidly. Your legs moved on their own, creeping towards the top of the stairs. You peered down the stairs from behind a wall to keep you hidden, resting your gaze upon Goldie and a familiar figure that made your heart leap with joy. Goldie slowly and carefully tried to guide him over to your couch to set him down, only making him let out a sharp hiss in pain. Eventually, he made his way over to the couch, partially out of your view, leaning against the back of it for support. Where's YN? He questioned seriously, pausing to look around your home. You said she was safe. Where is she? She's sleeping upstairs. Goldie quietly replied. She's gonna have a heart attack if she sees you like this, so try to be quiet. Does anybody want to guess who this person is, twin? My best guess is it's either going to be Freddie or Bonnie. Those are my best guesses. Write them there. Yes, sir. You saw him vaguely nod. As you saw Goldie turn to start up the stairs, you quickly disappeared into a hall closet, out of his view. He walked past the closet where you hid, his shadow passing over the door as he made his way down the hall towards the bathroom. Once you heard the bathroom open and close, you quietly exited the closet, walking back over to the stairs. You stood there for a while, wondering whether or not you should even go down, or just go back to bed and pretend you were asleep. What if what happened to Goldie had happened to him? My guess is getting closer. Would you even be able to bear seeing him so worn down and beat up? Downstairs, he sighed. I seriously wish I could go see her. I hope my guess is right. If my guess is not right, he continued to mumble to himself, not aware of you listening. Just once more would be more than enough. Just to know that she's okay. But if she wakes up and sees me, you smiled. He always did have a bad habit of speaking his mind out loud, didn't he? I think I've got my thing right. Working up the courage, you began your descent into the room. Hearing the stairs creak beside him, he paused. That you, Goldie? He asked. You felt your heart beat even faster than it already was, freezing in place even as you tried to calm your nerves. If you were this jittery just hearing his voice, then how would you expect how could you expect to be able to handle seeing him in such a state similar to Goldie's when he first came back? Easy. You couldn't. You needed to calm down for his sake. Pull yourself together. When, Edna quote. I love that. You shook your head at your own mental guidance. Continuing down the stairs. It only took you a moment after your little pep talk to yourself to realize that you couldn't see his silhouette anymore. He disappeared? You blinked, casting a glance around the parts of the room you could see, but finding no trace of your friend. And with benefits, cough, cough. Oh, hold on, I'm trying to remember. These memories are just like, twin, I don't know. Oh, hi. Hi, everyone, whoever came in. Hello. Oh, hold on. I gotta be careful because sometimes I look up and I lose myself. Ah, sorry. I feel like a little kid just having to be like, where was I? Anyways, hi. Let's see. You blinked, casting a glance around the parts of the room you could see, but finding no trace of your friend. Author with benefits. Fueled by your worry, your anxiety about seeing him melted away as you quickly finished your descent down the stairs to look for him. He found you first, though. After you had taken a few steps away from the stairs, you were tackled to the ground by the familiar face you had been searching for. Your back landed on the hard floor harshly, and you let out a small wince. He hovered closely above you, his hot breath fanning over your lips as you caught his gaze. His golden eyes gleamed with recognition as he fixed his attention on solely you, his eyes widening in surprise. Damn it, I got it wrong. Ah, dang it. I said Freddie or Bonnie and I got it wrong though. Two guesses and I still got it wrong. Ah, sigh. You only looked up at him in shock. Any words that tried to make their way out of your mouth were caught in your throat as you gazed at the horrific wounds he had. His lips had several small cuts in them, one particularly long gash running up and down his lips to the left side. His left eye looked like it had been slashed with a sharp knife. A dreadfully long scar seemed to run through his golden orb from above his eyebrow to the middle of his cheek. His long coat was dripping with fresh blood, and his fiery red hair and fox ears were completely matted with it. He looked like he just crawled out of the farthest pit of hell. Saying he looked worse off than Goldie would be a major understatement. He looked almost unrecognizable through all the blood and wounds slash cuts all over him. Foxy, you mumbled, eyes watering. He froze, eyes even more wide than they were before scurrying off of you quickly and standing to his full height. Foxy went to help you up, nearly extending his hand out to you, before glancing at his hand to see a large cut across it and hastily pulled it back. You'd never seen him look so ashamed before. He looked away, his eyes cast down. As he stood, you could better see just how many wounds that he'd retained. I'm sorry, he muttered quietly, his voice barely above a whisper. Snapping out of whatever trance you were in, you got to your feet, beginning to walk over to him. Your heart completely broke at the sight of him backing away from you. He put his hands up in front of him, giving you a wary look. Please, don't. I don't want to get my filthy blood all over you. You immediately lunged forward, grabbing onto his coat tightly so he couldn't back away. You buried your face into his bloodied shoulder, hugging him with all the strength you had. He stiffened, and you realized fairly quick that you might have been hurting him. You didn't let go, but you softened your grip, looking at him wordlessly. The look in your eyes and the tears glistening in your, let's say, just red colored orb spoke for you. I'm just kidding. Your colored orb spoke for you. We are currently reading Twin Human Fnaf X Listener Book 3. If you have not heard of the story or anything like that, there's a whole little playlist on my channel. Same title and everything. Oh, whoopsie. Same title and stuff. So you'll be able to find it quickly. But if you already caught up to date, up to chapter 29, you are good, twin. We are currently in chapter 30. Anyways, let's see. La, 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 la. Foxy had no idea what to say and just frowned down at you looking like he was about to cry himself. You were crying because he had let you see him in such a wounded state, and he knew it. The pain he suffered from all of his wounds couldn't have amounted to the heartache he felt from seeing you cry, for being the reason you were crying. You, however, felt even more ashamed. You hadn't been able to do anything to save him, to save the others, and you were the reason he looked so hurt, or he was so hurt. You couldn't even imagine how the others would look, considering how much more critically wounded Foxy was compared to Goldie when he first came back. It was a good bet that Vincent had been harder on them after Goldie had managed to get away. Foxy was shocked to hear the words that came out of your mouth next. Foxy, you whined sadly. I'm so sorry. Looking entirely bewildered, Foxy's wide eyes now narrowed with concern. I am not saying these words because I feel like I sound like a straight up Discord moderator. Like, hello, kitten. Listen, we are not affiliated. We're not affiliated in that type of scene here. Um, hello, princess. Like, come on, guys. Um, it could have been any other nickname. It just had to be that one, huh? Just had to be that one, huh? Don't appreciate this at all. I don't. Let's see. For what? I couldn't do anything. You paused, letting out a sob tear out of your throat as you once again buried your face into the cloth of his ruined coat. You felt Foxy slightly relax, then placed his hand gently on your back of your head to comfort you. You sniffled and sobbed into his coat, washing the fabric near his shoulder nearly entirely clean with all of your tears. Oh my God. Foxy hugged you tightly, desperate to not let you go after being apart from you for so long. He didn't even care about getting blood on you anymore. He'd apologize for it later. But he just needed to hold on to you right now, for his own sake and yours. Princess. Or Kitan. I can't do this with a straight face. I'm gonna try my best to do this with a straight face, but I don't think I'm gonna succeed. I don't think I'm gonna succeed, guys. Mm-mm. Oh my God, me too! Me too! That's crazy. I just recently took like the cold and flu medicine right before I started. I was gonna read it y'all yesterday, but like my voice was so dry. Girl, no. Like y'all hear this? A container of water, fuel. Anyway, oh my gosh. Son, please don't cry. I'm sorry. YN. Your knees eventually gave out on you. The absolute grief you felt was too much for you to bear. Foxy swept you into his arms on pure instinct, holding you close to his chest protectively and admittedly almost possessively. You absolutely hated, no, despised yourself so much for what happened to Foxy, Goldie, and for whatever would happen to Bonnie, Chica, and Freddie. You honestly felt like you didn't even deserve to be around them. But your own selfishness of needing them in your life prevented you from acting on that fast fleeting feeling. Literally, twin, thank you. This does feel kind of like a paper dream. You're right. You're right. You're right. I missed you. You whimpered, wrapping your arms around his neck in an attempt to get you closer to him. He gave a faint hum, his head leaning against your own softly. I missed you more. Aw, that's so cute. That's so cute. Also, I would like to say, like cutting in here in like pre-advance, if y'all hear me like randomly like turn off my mic or something, since this whole like snowstorm is happening, especially where I'm at, really badly. The house is full of people, ladies and gentlemen. I did not, um, there's a lot of people here. So like, yeah, so y'all don't have to hear all that. But just a little pre-advance. So don't worry, twins. Just a little pre-advance just in case, because you never know. It could be an emergency. Lights go out, blah, blah, blah. So at least y'all know if, like, in case the whole life goes down, what happened, right? Anyway, Goldie's POV. I should have known she would have been awake by the time I got back. It was stupid to expect her to still be sleeping after being gone for a few hours. Though, she probably wouldn't have been so hysterical right now had it not been for Foxy being so damn loud. I shouldn't have left him just standing around in the living room. If I hadn't, then why wouldn't be sobbing her little heart out downstairs? I'm so, so sorry. I felt my heart winch in my chest as she began to cry even louder. The quickly dis It was quickly disregarded as Foxy continued to try to soothe her. Shh, don't apologize, Kitten. I can't take this shit seriously. Kitten? Uh-uh. I felt a low growl rise from the back of my throat, but I kept my mouth shut. I can't afford to feud over Wine's affection anymore. Not even just playfully like we all used to. Not after what happened at the pizzeria just a few hours ago. Who knows what would happen if I completely lose it like that again? I'd actually end up hurting her. And though she forgave me, can't bring myself to do the same. Not her. I'll never forgive myself for hurting her. Sorry, oh, my microphone's acted up, twin. There we go. Anyone else, I probably wouldn't even feel any remorse. But as long as it's anyone else but her. Left the back of the excuse me, what? I lifted the back of my you left it? Um they banged their head against the wall basically softly. I get anyways, I gave a faint sigh, stuffing my hands into my pockets and closing my eyes. Though it was a little strange that Foxy hadn't noticed that I was eavesdropping behind the wall beside the top of the stairs. But I figured that he was too preoccupied with YN. Though I was fairly relieved that it seemed like Foxy was able to retain some morality, normorality, after what Vincent did to him, and was possibly continuing to do to the others. But I should stay on guard. I'd have to be more alert with him around now, and even more aware of myself. We can't afford to get into fights anymore, or any arguments. If we snap, Wine could get seriously hurt. One of us might even end up killing her if we don't keep ourselves in check. I'll be damned if I ever let that happen, especially not by my own hands. It was only a little while of me being lost in my thoughts for Wine's cries to soften, until they stopped altogether. I opened my eyes again, expectantly watching the stairs to see Foxy walking up them with a sleeping Wyan cradled in his arms. As he reached the top, he paused, facing me with a hardened gaze. There was a certain possessiveness now. I could see it in his eyes. I don't like the way he looks at her. Her wrist. Foxy began, lowly, his eyes burning a fierce gold. Where did she get that? I didn't look away, scowling. Not from the toys, I'll tell you that much. He only gave a faint snarl. I could see him trying to restrain himself, with wine still being in his grasp. Mentally, I gave a sigh of relief. As short-lived as it was, at least he could still do that much. Don't play games with me, Goldie, he warned, a malicious tone in his voice. You better tell me right goddamn now if you know who it was. Twin, I don't think you want to know. Wine began to stir slightly, giving a faint whine. She wasn't waking up. She'd exhausted herself from crying for over an hour and a half and gotten dehydrated. She was having another nightmare. Giving up the stare down, we both turned our gazes to the sleeping girl worriedly. Why would she be having another nightmare after just getting Foxy back? I sent the redhead a cautious glance, and he only gave me a knowing look. Did you say anything to her about Bonnie? I asked quietly. He looked down, remorse evident in his expression and as his golden, gleaming eyes began to dim. No, I could just tell from the first glance that she's practically at her limit. She's so much lighter than she used to be. He was right. I honestly wasn't sure myself if she had eaten anything else since we were separated from her. But her cheeks had a certain hollowness to them now, and she looked thin. More so than what was healthy. I gave a deep sigh, running a hand through my hair. I think we should all wait till we have everyone in here to tell her. It might be easier on her if we could all be there to break the news. Foxy gave me a cautious look, his expression wary. Do you really think they managed to kill him? Why let out a shaky breath, beginning to tremble. It was as if just bringing up the topic around her, even if she was asleep, was taking its toll on her. I glanced over her small form with concern, wondering what the hell kind of monster I'd be to torture the poor girl any more than she already has been. Thinking back to only a quarter of an hour earlier, I remember the last things that were said between us and the purple bunny before we parted ways. You two just make it out, and make sure you come back for Chica and Freddy. Honestly, I don't know. As for my princess, tell her I'm sorry, and that I'll miss her. Oh, shit. Remember this. Interesting information, interesting. Literally interesting information, my ass friend. Anyways, we are in chapter 31. Your POV. The emotional toll on your mind from all of the nightmares you'd suffered through was now starting to show physically. Hold on, I'm gonna twist the mic towards me. Anyways, come to think of it, had you even eaten anything since they left? You yourself hadn't noticed the health starting to deteriorate before Foxy pointed it out, and eventually dragging you down to the kitchen so you could eat. Sat across the table from you, Foxy gazed at you worriedly, now wearing the old gray t-shirt and jeans he wore last time you had to wash his clothes. Please, just eat something small at least, YN. Foxy begged. His ears now drooped low on his head as he gazed at you sadly. You bit your lip, remembering the nightmare that Foxy had to wake you from only a few minutes ago. You felt far too sick to even think about eating after that. You put your head down. I can't. I promise I'll eat something later, but right now I can't. Glancing over at the clock on the wall, to avert your gaze from his sad eyes, you saw that it was 2 hours before your shift would start. You would find them tonight. For sure. You had to. Quiet, I'm begging you. Foxy pleaded. Please, if you don't do it for yourself, then do it for us. Freddie and Chica would hate to come back and see you like this. So at least take care of yourself for them. You gave a faint whine in protest, knowing Foxy was right. He looked back over you looked back up to his concerned gaze and suddenly felt guilty for making him worry over you so much. It wasn't fair for you to make them feel so bad after what they've been through. So you should just suck it up and do it for them at least. He sighed. Okay, but only something small. Foxy immediately perked up, a happy grin on his face. You mean it? His golden eyes shone so brightly, so intensely with joy. How could you ever deny those eyes? You gave him a smile. Yeah, I promise. As soon as you said that, appearing out of nowhere in his usual fashion, Goldie placed a plate in front of you, filled with mouth-watering food that made your stomach want to growl just looking at it. You were practically drooling. Both animatronics gave a chuckle, Goldie placing a hand on your head gently. You looked up at him as if you were Santa Claus. He smiled. Dig in. You deserve it. And dig in you did. All right. So, are you really planning on going to work tonight? From across the dimly lit room, you sent Goldie a slightly harsh look. I am, but I want to make sure Foxy's okay first. You said in a definite tone. Glancing over to the bed, you gazed worriedly at the sleeping redhead. After you finished eating, Foxy ended up falling asleep at the table, almost as if he'd been holding out on rest on purpose. No wonder he couldn't sleep before, you thought, thinking back to your prior pleas for the fox to get some rest after what he had been through, but denying you every time. He was too busy worrying over my health. You mentally sighed. The animatronics would run themselves ragged every time something was wrong with you, whether it be that you were sick, developing unusual sleeping patterns, and now about the fact that you hadn't really eaten at all since they left. They could never stop worrying about you, putting your needs far before any of theirs, even despite your wishes for them to take better care of themselves. You remembered how happy Foxy looked when you finally agreed to eat something. He looked like you just told him that he won the lottery. Goldie rolled his eyes, letting the book he had been reading drop onto his lap as he rested his chin on the back of his hand, his arm propped on the chair's armrest. I don't mean to echo Freddie's words and nag you, the blonde started, a bored expression on his face, but we are immortal, Wyatt. I know that, you whispered, yelled, careful not to wake Foxy up. But you even said to yourself, those wounds were serious and shouldn't be left unattended even for now, even though they'll heal eventually. You hated how they reminded you of that and gave you that look. There was nothing in the world that made your blood boil more than those three damn words. You weren't a child. They needed to stop treating you like one, or one day you were really going to lose it. His eyes narrowed at you, a slight glare in his sapphire orbs. You didn't have to eavesdrop, YN. You only gave a small huff in reply, knowing you were in the wrong. But you couldn't really help but wonder why you heard a slight hint of jealousy in his voice as he said that. Really, girl? Come on, we're not playing this again. You had fussed about Foxy so much after he came back. Was there a possibility that Goldie was actually envious of that? You took a better look at Goldie, noticing how his scrutinizing gaze was fixed on Foxy, an evident glare in his eyes. Goldie? You called out to him quietly. He reluctantly looked over to you and answered irritably, What is it? For Goldie to snap at you, you were either doing something utterly and entirely stupid, he was jealous, or something was terribly wrong with him. Your gaze softened, and you whispered quietly, Are you okay? Don't be stupid. He scoffed. What could you care? So he was jealous. Even with that realization, his words still stung. Maybe he really did think that you didn't care. Still, Goldie never spoke to you like that. He seemed to notice too, freezing up slightly as he just looked at you with his head slightly lowered, then giving a sigh. Sorry, I think you should get some rest too, Goldie, you said abruptly, surprising him. I don't need it, he protested, though quietly. And I don't care, you stated stubbornly. Before he could interject, you marched your way over to him. His oh my goodness. His azure blue eyes wide as you loomed over him, staring him down. You placed your hands on either armrest, making Goldie look up at you in surprise. The newfound confidence that was em- emanating from you left him in a speechless awe. I want you to get some sleep. I know you going back to get Foxy as soon as you did took up a lot of your strength, and you're still recovering nonetheless. Goldie had no words to say to you. It was rare to see you like you were now, and the only other time he can call you with that same imitating aura was when he threatened to kill the others back in the pizzeria. He couldn't help but give you his full respect and attention back then, and here he was now in the same scenario. Honestly, he couldn't ever say no to you when you got like that. Not only because he loved you, but because he really did respect you. Please, get some sleep, you begged, your tone going soft. I know that you're still hurting, so please just take care of yourself for me. Girl, I need to take care of me too. I need to take care of me too. Hmm You have no reason to be mad at yourself, he finally said, sounding breathless. But I will be, you continued. This time your voice had an edge to it. So please, get some rest. He stared you down for a while, before sighing and giving up. He moved a little away from the chair, enough for Goldie to stand up and stretch a little before he turned to you. Thank you. He gave a faint smile. It made me really happy to hear that. You looked down slightly, a faint blush on your cheeks. Goldie gave you a small chuckle before bidding you good night and walking off to the other spare bedroom. As soon as he was gone, you let out a deep sigh, as if you'd been holding your breath for a very long time. Since when has Goldie started to affect you like that? It was still late when you woke up. Sometime while watching over Foxy, you accidentally fallen asleep by his bedside. You remembered looking at the alarm on the bedside table before you fell asleep. It was 11:34 the last time you checked. Your eyes were heavy, and you felt like it was hard to move all of your fatigue. Hold on. It was hard to move with all of your fatigue catching up with you at once. Not a single muscle in your body would move like you wanted it to. Your mind was blank, your tiredness fogging your mind in ways that honestly stunned you. The absolute silence in the room was not helping you wake up at all. Only Foxy's faint snoring was all that could be heard for a long time. By the time you were physically able to open your eyes, you realized how late it actually was. How late you actually were for work. One single glance at the alarm clock beside you showed that the time 12:23 a.m. You told yourself that you were going to go find the toys, and you had fallen asleep. This time, with anxiety now running around in your veins, you managed to stand up, a small yawn escaping your lips as you did so. As quietly as you could, you walked out of the room, looking for your uniform, keys, and phone, and whatever else you needed. After a few short minutes, you stood by your front door, ready to pass the limits to get to the ready to speed past the limits to get to the pizzeria. Before you paused, although Goldie and Freddie were still dead asleep, if they were able to wake up sometime later in the night and notice your absence, they'd be worried sick. Deciding that it wasn't fair to make them worry any more than they already had, you wrote a small note about where you were going and left it on the kitchen table for them to find if they woke up. Satisfied, you left your house and drove to work, arriving there in less time than usual. As you entered the pizzeria, you noticed the chill that was in the air now. It was uncomfortable. Finding your way to the office first, you saw the two familiar faces crowded around the desk. As soon as they looked up and noticed you, you gave them a small wave. YN! Mike chimed happily, giving you a hug while you walked into the office. Hi, Mike. You gave a faint greeting, feeling too tired to reciprocate his enthusiasm. He seemed to notice, giving you a wary look. Are you feeling okay? You look tired. I fell asleep, you admitted. I haven't gotten much rest over the past few days, and it caught up with me. He frowned a little. Oh, sorry to hear that. You shook your head. Don't worry about it. Hey, don't I get a hello too? Looking over Mike's shoulder, you sent the pouting Jeremy a small smile. Hello, Jeremy. He seemed happy. Oh, whoops. Hold on, this computer. Hold on. Hold on, twins. What was the word? Technical difficulties? Hold on. I'm gonna fix this computer real quick and get a more comfortable position. Hold on, twins. Hold on. I can't believe we've only read what? This is like the second chapter that we've read, and it already like feels like I've already read like three chapters. I don't know if it's just me going live or if it's just like really, really long. I don't know. Let me know if y'all feel that way too, because I'm like, okay, I feel like I've been reading like three chapters, man. This is my third or fourth one, but I can assure you it's not. Ah, sigh. All right, there you go. Hopefully that stays still. Anyways, let's see. Where were we? It's, um, okay. He seemed happy with the greeting, despite the sarcasm you put into it. You walked over to him, blocking the looking at the tablet as he scanned through the cameras. So, we really haven't seen you much, huh, Wyan? Jeremy asked, looking up to you. I guess not, you sighed, but, well, I'm here now. I'm glad, he responded cheerfully. He looked down at the tablet, flipping through the cameras. He frowned as he stopped on the camera overlooking the stage. No one was there. Toy Freddy, Chica, and Bonnie all disappeared as soon as it was midnight, Mike explained, sighing as he walked over to the two of you. You looked up at him, not trying to mask the worry in your voice, as you asked, What do you mean? Don't you know where they are? Not a clue, he shrugged. But then again, I honestly couldn't give a lesser shit. As much as his harsh words made you feel defensive over the toys, you could understand where he was coming from. The originals nearly killed both him and Jeremy once upon a time. Jack made them do interesting things, and the toys harassed them every night. You ultimately kept your mouth shut, despite the curse words that you wanted to shout at him. Jeremy looked up at you a bit sadly. Mike and I both even went down the stage, checked the backstage, and walked around a bit to look for him, but we couldn't find him. We found the backups, Mike added, then continued more dejectedly. But not the real ones that come to life. Goldie was right then. You huffed quietly, feeling your shoulders slump as you remembered that the animatronics on the stage earlier were not the toys you knew. If they weren't uh if they weren't early if they weren't there earlier in the day and they weren't there now, then where were they? You gazed a bit hopelessly back at Jeremy. You didn't see them at all? He shook his head, then answered sadly. Sorry, but no. You only let out a sigh, and Jeremy went back to checking the cameras while Mike just stood by the door, twirling his bat around his hand. That's how we handle business! Excuse me. As Jeremy flipped through the cameras, you watched every shadow, every dark corner, hoping to maybe just find a single glimpse of your friends. But you were disappointed. He paused as he reached the prize corner camera, and your eyes widened in fright as you looked at the screen. The music box wasn't playing. Jack's music box wasn't playing. Why hadn't Jeremy paid closer attention to it? You felt very imminent fear rush through you. Not for yourself, but for the two other night guards with you. Your thoughts were jumbled, and your mind scrambled as you went back to square one, being frightened of Jack. After your encounter with Mangle, you didn't know what he would do to them once he reached the office. Could he kill Mike and Jeremy now that he thought you'd left him? What would he do to you when he got to the office? Would he attack you like Mangle did? Would he even go as far to kill you? You mentally shook off the thought and sent Jeremy a frightened look. He only frowned at you, looking troubled. That was 20 minutes ago when I forgot to wind it up, he revealed, sounding confused. The marionette never came out of its box. You stood there, bewildered beyond measure. The only reaction you gave to his words was a slow blink. Jack never came out of the box? He loathed that box, he told you before. Now, he wasn't leaving it? An image of the last time you saw Jack appeared in your mind, making you feel guilty. When Goldie first came back, he looked so utterly and completely destroyed, like someone had stolen his dream and stomped all over it. Is that why he was staying in this box? In his box, excuse me? You averted your gaze from Jeremy, looking back down at the camera, a fire burning behind your eyes. I'll go check on him. You stated suddenly, not taking no for an answer. Both Jeremy and Mike looked uncertain, and Mike spoke up. Are you sure about this? Yes, you affirmed, rushing past him on your way out of the office. Before either of them could stop you, you were already down the hall. As dark as it was, you didn't even need the lights on to know where you were going. Even though it was hard to see, you looked around in the dark as you walked through the pizzeria, hoping to maybe catch a glimpse of one of the toys. But you were disappointed. You reached the prize corner in what felt like no time at all. Despite how tired you really were, Your heart began to race at the sight of the large music box in front of you. You desperately tried to think of something to say to him, but nothing useful came to mind. All that was running around in your head were all your fears. Would he try to kill you? Would he just avoid you like the toys were? Would he attack you like Mangle? Or would he even... You shook your head. You didn't really know what he would do, but Jack was your friend and you were going to see him no matter the case. You owed it to him and to yourself to try and make things right, and that was what you were going to do. You dragged a stool you found behind the counter of the prize corner in front of the large box and stood up on top of it, peering inside. Only a dark silhouette sitting slumped at its base met your eyes in the dark. Jack? You questioned. Said the raven-haired male looked up at you in slight shock. What? What? His violet eyes were dull now, and didn't illuminate the darkness as they used to. They were merely succumbed to it. Your heart clenched in your chest, and you held your hand out to him. I don't want to talk to you inside a stuffy little box. Come out, you pleaded, stretching your arm further down towards him. He eyed your hand warily, whispering softly, Why did you come back? His voice sounded so weak. It had lost its musical touch. It made you want to cry just to hear him speak. Just hearing him speak, I'm pretty sure. You couldn't, though. You absolutely wouldn't. Instead, you masked your hurt with fiery determination. I said I wasn't going to talk unless you were out here to face out here face to face with me. You got out, so I won't answer you until you do. You would just get through to him, no matter what it would cost you. He'd been there for you when the originals were gone, and so had the other toys. You would just start with Jack, and then you'd repair your relationship with all the other toys too. Nothing in the world could ever dare to stop you. Jack broke your gaze, looking away. Just leave then. You felt your heart slightly break at his words, and your resolve began to loosen. So, he really did think you abandoned him, too. With a small sigh, you pulled yourself up and swung your legs over the top of the box, perching yourself there while you stared down at him. Don't make me jump in there and drag you out, you threatened jokingly. He still wouldn't look at you. Ow, fuck! I warned you. You had jumped into the box, landing on top of Jack. In an admittedly awkward position, you could tell he was uncomfortable, not only because of the extra weight on top of him and the unfortunate position he was in, but because of the fact that you were sitting right on a certain place that made his face turn bright red. What the fuck? You were honestly too tired to really care, though. Hell, you didn't even notice. What's up with everybody? You asked. A frown sat on your face. Ever since Goldie came back, everyone's been hiding from me. You were being unusually straightforward tonight. Jack took notice of that. He just figured you'd gotten tired of everyone avoiding you, and he knew you deserved answers. He sighed. You have him now. Why are you talking to me still? You were expecting him to say that, and you continued in phase. Because you're my friend, goddammit, you declared, crossing your arms over your chest. Come hell or high water, I'm always going to be here, and you can't keep me from it. Immediate friend zone. Nice job, YN. It's crazy. Another rap. You don't mean that. He mumbled soullessly. Or solemnly? Yeah. You raised an eyebrow. You really want to test me? He finally looked up to you, and you could see how red his eyes were, like he'd been crying. Your heart clenched painfully in your chest at the sight. Why are you going through all this trouble? I just told you, because you're my friend. I don't want to be your friend. You let out a small squeak as Jack sat up, and you fell off of his lap. Your back was now pressed against the opposite side of the box, as he leaned over you with an aggravated expression on his face. His hand was pressed against the wall beside your head, his other hand on the floor near your thigh to keep himself upright. The position made you blush slightly. All you ever fucking talk about is the originals, he hissed, his violet orbs glaring into yours. I don't want to hear whatever you have to say. You wanted to speak, but what would you even say? You had no idea. You think I just want to be friends, YN? His icy words piercing your already fragile heart. He let out a dry laugh. You're really stupid, you know that? Before you could even reply, his own lips crashed into yours, making your mind go hazy. Unlike the other times he'd kissed you, like the others, bruh, this one was so you couldn't even put the right word. You can't even like find the right word. There was no lust in it at all. It was pure, honest love. You nearly felt choked by all the emotions you could feel from him. But before you could return the kiss, he pulled away, his glare still evident. I hate you, he hissed, but I can't fucking stop myself from being in love with you. What is this, radio static now? Twin! Twin, girl, get out of here. He gave a deep sigh. Why the hell did you even come back here anyways? You couldn't reply, physically. You couldn't reply. Your words were all caught up in your throat. His he rolled his eyes. You can't even answer me. You interrupted him, grabbing the sides of his dark hoodie and pulling his mouth back onto yours. Oh shit. To say he was stunned would have been an understatement. You pulled away first, leaving a breathless, panting Jack before you as you spoke. If anybody's stupid here, it's you. You'd honestly think I'd forget you? That I'd forget about any of you? You narrowed your eyes at him accusingly. He merely listened as he tried to catch his breath. You could have killed me, you stated, but instead you saved me and apologized to me for what you did before. Did you really think that I'd forget that? And forget everything that we've been through so far? No, Jack. I won't. I refuse to. He was silent for a while, both of you trying to recover your breath. Then he grinned. That's why I love you. Okay, bitch. Okay. I love that moment for them. All right, y'all. I know this is like we're so in January already, but we are on a holiday special one. Yeah. Consider this like a very insanely late gift, I suppose, from the author. I'm not going to take credit for it because I did not write it. I'm just reading it to you guys. Yay! Holiday special, set in Fnaf 2. Bonnie, what are you doing? Screw off, Chica, I'm busy. The small blonde girl crossed her arms over her chest, an eyebrow raised at the bunny in suspicion. You're setting up a mistletoe. You're trying to get Wyatt to kiss you tonight, aren't you? Bonnie rolled his eyes, glaring down at her from the one on the step ladder is crazy. Well, it's certainly not for you. It was Christmas Eve, or well, it would be until Wine's shift started. Then it would be Christmas. Had Bonnie been an innocent little kid again, he would have had asked Santa for one thing and one thing only. A kiss from YN. He'd wandered around town earlier in the day, looking for one little thing that could help him achieve that dream. He found the mistletoe he was looking for, but he had ended up stealing it from from some coffee shop downtown. Not that he cared, since he was one step closer to his goal. He'd do anything and everything to get a kiss from his princess. Is crazy. Chica huffed, looking away. Fine jerk. I was just asking. Mistletoe. Both pairs of eyes drifted into the dark hallway, spotting a certain puppet staring at them curiously. What are you doing with that bunny? Jack asked, a tone of warning in his voice. None of your damn business, puppet. Bonnie is best crazy. Jack's eyes narrowed dangerously. If you're planning on tricking Wyan into kissing you with it, then it's very much my business. Bonnie growled, fixing an icy glare on Chica. You and your big damn mouth. That's not for my little night guard, is it? Appearing beside Jack, an agitated Mangle sent a glare towards the purple bunny. Bonnie jumped down from the stepladder, stuffing the mistletoe into his pocket before walking up to the white fox. Since when was she yours, bastard? Bonnie barked. Bonnie just barked in his damn dog, cat, mouse, girl. Why do you even think she likes you? For all the shit you two pulled? Mango let out a feral growl, sounding more animal than anything. It even surprised Jack. Don't you dare bring that up again. Mango hissed, his golden eyes blazing. Wyan forgave us, and you can't say anything to change that fact. Bonnie let out a scoff, turning away from Mango to walk back into the office. Just because she forgave you doesn't mean she'll ever love you, dumbass. She loves us, not you. She'll never waste her time on the bastards that tried to watch your damn mouth, Bunny. Ryan's here. Quit arguing. Goldie appeared into the office, standing between the fox and the bunny. Yeah, yes. His eyes were black, his pupils were white, and they were like they were when he was pissed off. Sending a glare to the both of them, he continued, It's a damn holiday. Don't you dare ruin Ryan's mood with your bullshit tonight. She's pretty happy today. He revealed, then promised his threat. If you fuckers do anything to destroy that mood, you'll get coal shoved down your damn throats and up your asses like you deserve. Understood? Bonnie rolled his eyes again, walking off into the hallway. I'm not the one you need to talk to. I'd never do anything to ruin my princess's happiness. What is this, bro? He sent an unforgiving crimson glare to the two toys behind him. They're the ones who deserve. They're the ones you better watch out for. Bonnie. Goldie called after him, making the violet-haired male turn around. I'll slaughter you before I let you get a kiss with Ryan under that mistletoe. That's crazy word. I genuinely kind of forgot how crazy these sets to kind of be over something crazy like this. I know. I know, bruh. That's kind of insane. Vox Tech trust us. And I made a reference earlier. It's kind of ironic. Look at that. That is applesauce. Look at that. uh-uh. Anyways, I'll slaughter you before I let you get a kiss with Ryan under that mistletoe. Oh boy. Oh, no. Goldie growled out. Don't plan on anything that'll get you stuffed into another suit. How does that make sense? He's already in it. Okay, right. Kiss my ass, Blondie. Bonnie laughed dryly. You don't scare me. A loud animatronic screech echoed down the hall, making Bonnie slightly jolt backwards. Foxy, in his animatronic form, stood towering over the bunny, his jaw open wide and ready to take a bite. Cottontail, you better start running if you don't want me to beat your sorry little ass. Freddy, this is gonna fucking kill me, Britt. What? Oh, hi. Well, you poor thing, I suppose. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a fan fiction reading thing. But surprisingly, damn, it's already 10 o'clock. Oh my god, late one at that. Alright, let me continue then. I don't want to get stuck on this chapter. Hold up. Let's see. Um, where was I? Okay, Freddy in his human form stepped beside a now human Foxy. Two furious glares were locked onto the lavender-haired bunny. Oh, but Bonnie only laughed. Catch me if you can fast. It's crazy. No, I did not catch that reference, author. Sadly, I did not. But if anyone does, now y'all know. Now y'all know. Let's see. Stepping on Bonnie's back as he went, Mangle, with the mistletoe in hand, darted off down the dark hallway. Hey, get back here, you fucking prick, is crazy. I can't take this seriously. As if I'm letting you steal a kiss from my little night guard, Mangle thought, rolling his eyes as he made his way to the show stage. I would have burned it. As soon as he arrived, Panting and hunched over on his knees, Fred and Cece took notice that something was up. Cece, in her usual fashion, stormed over to the tired fox and grabbed him by his collar. "What the hell are you doing?" she growled out, a fire hidden between her sky blue orbs. "Cece, please, wait!" Mangle cried, holding up the mistletoe. "I can explain. Bonnie, why do you have the mistletoe?" Sissy's eyes narrowed, drifting towards the mistletoe in his hand before setting a large glare on Mangle. "You little bastard! You were going to trick Wine with it, weren't you?" Before Mangle could open his mouth again, a red blur rushed past the two of them, snagging the mistletoe out of Mangle's hand as it raced off. Mangle, horrified, tried to pry a confused Cece off of him. "Let go, Cece!" he yelled, grabbing onto her arm. "They're going to steal a kiss from YN. I was trying to stop them." "A kiss from YN, huh?" she murmured quietly. Unnoticed by the two, Fred slipped off without a word to go after Foxy. Just as he was determined to get that mistletoe kiss as anyone else in the pizzeria, even if they wouldn't admit it. With a sigh, Cece let go of Mangle, and he immediately raced off to find Foxy. With a smirk, Cece went to follow them. If anyone was getting that kiss, she was. "Girl, y'all seem very awfully confident for what it is, twins." A small catfight in the office had now turned into a bloody brawl for that mistletoe, leaving it mingled with blood and left on the floor, while Foxy, Mangle, Bonnie, Freddie, and surprisingly Bonbon and Jack fought for it. At that moment, Foxy was caught in a headlock by Freddie, Bonnie delivered a left side kick to Mangle's gut, and Jack had pulled a switchblade on Bonbon, keeping it by his throat. Cece, Goldie, Fred, and Chica were watching from afar, all of them thinking brains would work better than brawn. Each a plan, sure, but only one could prevail in this war to get the mistletoe. Unbeknownst to them, BB would surely win it. Your POV. "Hello? Guys? Where are you? You got to work maybe 20 minutes ago, and no one had to come greet you like they always did. As ridiculous as it seemed, it was like they were hiding from you. It was Christmas for crying out loud. You wanted to take them all with you home for the night and celebrate. You had food and gifts for them all ready and waiting at your house, but no one was around. As soon as you were about to give up, you, oh, excuse me. As soon as you were about to give up, you bumped into someone. Oh, sorry. You apologized immediately, looking up to see Freddy's POV. Freddy? Hey, Angel. Lovely night tonight, isn't it? You tilted your head. Where have you been? I've been looking all over for you. Freddy waved it off, giving a shrug and a smirk. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Yeah, I'm sure. So sure. You gave a dry laugh. Fixing a suspicious gaze on him was crazy. He really grinned at you. He knew telling you what had really happened would only upset you, so he decided that he'd just brush it off instead. "You look beautiful tonight, as always," he complimented sincerely. Sure, he was suave and good with his words, but when he complimented you, he always meant it wholeheartedly. He loved you after all. You only laughed in his face. "Bullshit. You're just saying that so I won't get mad at you. For whatever reason I'm gonna find out about." Freddie found. "No, honestly, Ryan, I wouldn't. Save it, Fazbear," you hissed. "I'm not interested." He hated when you were mad at him. He only tried to compliment you. Even if he had ended up getting the middles, that's crazy. Even if he had ended up getting the mistletoe, maybe you were too mad at him to even give him a small kiss on the cheek. It's crazy. He didn't even know where the mistletoe was. Anyways, with a small hope in his heart, he looked around for it, hoping that maybe he could just get a small glimpse of it, but found none. With an aggravated groan, he threw his head back and looked up, his upset demeanor falling away almost instantly. You followed his gaze, only to find mistletoe hanging above the two of you. Mistletoe. "Oh," he mumbled. "That's where that went." When what? When what? I know. Oh, I just got okay. I'm just reading these back. Hold on. What? Oh, hi, whoever said hi. Hi, y'all. And hello. Um, ooh, something to draw. Oh my God, that's amazing. Mm, well, I'm not. What about like a betta fish of some kind, like with like a heart on its like fin or something, or like on its tail or something like that. Because I actually had a betta fish with like a heart on her tail. Sadly, she passed away, but may she rest in peace. But maybe something like that would be really cool. But run wild. I mean, if that's something you would like to draw, then go right ahead and please send it to me when you're done. Or like show me progress or something like that. Thank you, twin. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see. Um, uh, okay. I hate when I lose myself on like these chapters. Literally. Let's see. Um, Son of a I bet you he put that shit either on purpose or somebody did. I don't know who did, but I'm pretty sure it was his ass on purpose, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. Oh, he mumbled. That's where that went. Though Freddie seemed calm about it, you're completely the polar opposite. Um, Freddie looked down to find you nervous and fidgety, a rosy blush covering your cheeks. Moments like these, where he could see you as the same sweet little night guard that had shown him so much care on your first shift. Freddie? Bonnie? Not Bonnie, bro. I missed my word count. Oh, wait. Freddie? With his hand underneath your chin, he tilted your head up towards him, claiming your lips in a passionate embrace. You immediately reciprocated, melting into the kiss, much to his delight. With the knowledge in his heart that you loved him, Freddie gave a proud smirk into the kiss. Freddie won the mistletoe war. Okay, I'm assuming this is a different character, so y'all, we did Freddie. Next is Bonnie. Bonnie? Hey, princess, looking lovely as usual. You gave him an uninterested glance. Where's everyone, Bonnie? What happened? I don't know what you're talking about, princess. He laughed, scratching the back of his neck nervously. Bullshit. You mumbled. He only grinned at you. That grin never meant anything good. What did you do, Bonnie? You gave a definite sigh. He looked at you with a frown. What do you mean? You don't have any faith in me, princess? Oh, I've got a lot of faith in you, all right, you mumbled. Faith that you'll never fail to start shit between everyone. His shoulders slumped sadly. I'm not that bad to you, am I, YN? One look at his sad, pouting face was enough to make you feel bad for being so rude to him. Sure, he's a hell of a troublemaker, but Bonnie only ever wanted to see you smile. Knowing he did something to make you unhappy, well, saying that it broke his heart would be an understatement. No, he sighed. No, Bonnie, it's just he gave a sad huff, giving you his best puppy dog eyes. The pout on his face seemed to be forever etched onto his features. Before he looked up to find something that made his face light up like a little kid in a candy store. Fuck yeah. He gave a fist bump, doing a little happy jig before turning to you with joyful crimson eyes. Before you could follow his gaze, Bonnie took you into his arms, dipping your back down slightly as he stole a kiss from your soft lips. You were in bliss, kissing him back without a care in the world. You didn't care why he kissed you, but you were glad he did anyways. Pulling back slowly as you both needed air, he stared into your orbs happily. I win. Bonnie won the mistletoe war. Oh my goodness. They're all ops, bro. They're like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Legit. That's how it feels right now. I'm not gonna say kitten as prevents because that's too weird for my vocabulary. Foxy? Foxy? Quintos! I'm just kidding. You're here. Is it midnight already? Wow, the time sure flies, huh? You gave Foxy a worried look. Are you feeling okay? You look a little red. More so than usual, anyway. I'm good. He shrugged you off, but still looked nervous. Perfectly okay. Foxy, really, you sighed. If something's wrong, then just tell me. You can tell me anything. You know that. He looked down a little, his ears drooping. He hated to disappoint you, but he didn't want you to be mad at him either. Foxy wanted to tell you the truth, but he sighed, looking up at the ceiling, hopefully to get some divine assistance. Boy, did he get what he was looking for. His face lit up, a wide grin stretching across his once red cheeks. You tilted your head, slightly confused. He looked down at you with a smirk, his golden eyes gleaming like a predator watching its prey. Foxy? Without another word, Foxy put a hand on your hip and a hand on the back of your head, pulling you close, and claimed your lips for himself. Your wide eyes drifted to look above him, spotting the culprit. Mistletoe. Though your face was burning as red as Foxy's hair, you closed your eyes and deepening the kiss. Foxy won the mistletoe war. Goldie's turn. Goldie? Why in? You're here. Well, of course, you stated, eyes narrowing at him suspiciously. Why wouldn't I be? What's going on, Goldie? Nothing, Dove. Goldie shook his head. No need to worry about it. Just Bonnie causing a mess again. You frowned. Really? You guys didn't fight, did you? He only gave a deep sigh, looking down at you knowingly. You sighed yourself, running a hand through your hair. As much as you hated everyone to fight, nobody really seemed to care what you thought and what else on that matter as much as they cared about your thoughts on everything else. Goldie hated to see you upset whenever a fight would start. He'd kill Bonnie for that later. Right now, though, mistletoe? Goldie looked at to you, only to find you staring up at the ceiling with a blush dusting across your cheeks. He followed your gaze, only to find the very same mistletoe that everyone had been fighting over hanging above the both of you. Wow, he whistled lowly. I didn't even have to do anything. So, um, Goldie gazed down at you, finding you twiddling your thumbs and looking down. You were nervous, and you knew what happened when you get caught under the mistletoe. Goldie gently touched a hand to your cheek, lifting your head up to face him. Your colored your colored orbs went wide as he leaned down to give you a passionate kiss, and your mind practically went blank as the only thing you could think about was kissing him. Running your hand through his hair, he gave a smile. Goldie won the mistletoe war. Chica's turn. Chica? Why in? I'm glad you're here. Why? What happened? You questioned curiously, tilting your head. Where did everybody go? She rolled her eyes. Bonnie was being an idiot and started this whole big fight between everybody. He's just so stupid sometimes, but I, I just want to power him down and just leave him that way. Again? You sighed. I thought he would do something like this. He was acting a bit suspicious lately. Or he has. Yeah, there we go. Chica shrugged, giving an aggravated groan. He seriously pisses me off when he does this. Rolling her eyes, she looked up. The small blonde froze, fixing her gaze on something above the two of you. Mistletoe? She cried. A furious blush fastened to her cheeks. You looked up, only to find that Chica was right. There was a mistletoe hung up on the doorway above the two of you. Chica looked to you, her lips trembling nervously. She looked down, clutching tightly to the hem of her yellow dress. He only shrugged, grabbing her gently by the shoulders and giving her a sweet kiss on the lips. The poor blonde nearly had a heart attack, and was seriously surprised by her sudden action. Nonetheless, she returned the kiss genuinely. Chica won the mistletoe war. Fred, as in Toy Freddy, guys. Fred? Oh, why, dear, he said quietly, blue eyes slightly wide. I didn't know you were here. Well, you started. I am. So where's everybody hiding? Hiding? Fred questioned, tilting his head. No one's hiding from you. Never. Then where are they? You asked, frowning slightly. Fred looked away, a troubled expression on his face. You knew that it didn't mean anything good. Damn, you mumbled sadly. Just one night with no arguing was what I wanted. It's Christmas for crying out loud. He looked down at you, feeling guilty for participating in something that made you so upset. Besides, in the end, the mistletoe had ended up disappearing before he could get his hands on it. Where had it gone anyways? Giving a silent plea to Santa Claus or whoever would listen, he looked up, and his wish came true. Perched above the two of you was the very same mistletoe that he had been trying to get his hands on. He caught you under the mistletoe like he wanted. Not that he thought he'd be able to do it anyways. The mistletoe, he whispered in utter disbelief. Mistletoe? You questioned, looking up curiously. Your face was beet red, and before you could react, Fred kissed you. Fred won the mistletoe war. This is Bonbon, as in Toy Bonnie. Bonbon? Hey there, sweet cheeks. Miss me? Not really, you groaned, rolling your eyes. Ouch. He flinched back in mock hurt, a frown crossing his features. And it's a holiday, too. A holiday I'd rather not spend time with you, of all people. Of everyone you could have bumped into first, it just had to be Bonbon. What? Blinking owlishly, you looked back at him to see him with his arms crossed over his chest, an angry expression on his face. Damn it, that's such bullshit, he growled. I went through all this just for it to be here? For what have what to be here? You asked. Your head tilted to the side. He pointed upwards. The mistletoe! You froze, looking up slowly to see that he was, in fact, correct. There was there was a mistletoe hanging above you and Bonbon. How come you hadn't seen that earlier? Anyways, he sighed. You know what this means, right? You looked back to him to see him find him smirking, emerald eyes gleaming with mischief. With a heavy sigh, you grabbed the back of his neck and pulled him down to you, kissing him softly. He was surprised, of course, but instantly returned the gesture, placing his hands on your hips and tugging you closer to him. Bonbon won the mistletoe war. Mangle. Mangle? The white pink-haired fox only gave a small, sad sigh. Hyen? What's wrong? You questioned worriedly. He looked down, golden eyes dreary and lacking their usual glow. I'm sorry, it's nothing. If you're upset, then it's obviously something, you stated, walking up closer to him. Putting the back of your hand on his forehead, you felt his temperature. It felt normal, cold, as usual, but you were still not convinced. Are you not feeling well, Mangle? You asked with concern. Did something happen? Mangle frowned at your question, before pouting angrily. Bonnie brought in some mistletoe to the pizzeria, and everyone started fighting over it because they wanted a kiss from you. You tilted your head. A kiss? From me? Yeah, but... Mangle gave a soft sigh, amber eyes sad. I tried to get it so that they couldn't trick you into doing it, but I lost it. I don't know where it is. You frowned, looking up. You mean this mistletoe? Mangle perked up, eyes slightly wide as he followed your gaze. Lo and behold, the mistletoe he tried to fight for was sitting perched above the both of your heads. Almost instantly, his face lit up a bright red. He was at a loss for words. He didn't need any, though. Without another moment's hesitation, you gently placed your hands on his shoulders, stood up on your toes, and kissed him sweetly, even though he fainted after. Mango won the mistletoe war. He said, "Ah!" That's crazy. Imagine passing out after like the love of your life kissing you back. Oh, that is funny. That is quite funny. It's like so if you're wondering what all this noise is, it's because I have like a basically I'm holding a big ass mic because the one I usually use is really small, so I don't know if I'm gonna get to this big ass mic. We'll see. Let's see. Where was we? Jack, as in the marionette chat. Jack? Ryan, what are you doing here? You frowned at the nickname, but replied anyway. I work here? Well, of course, he rolled his eyes, but I meant, what are you doing here now? Is it midnight already? Yes, you answered with a nod. I'm here on time for once. He gave a small laugh, for once. You shook her head. So, where is everybody? Jack put on a poker face, looking away. Not a single clue, little ballerina. That's some bullshit if I've ever heard of it. You deadpanned. That's kind of funny. Girl, what? He only sighed. Sorry, but you'd rather not know. I'll bet. You looked down sadly. Jack hated that you when you gave him that look. He utterly despised it. He'd give $50 on it that you'd already figured out what happened. Another fight. Another reason for you to be unhappy. He hated when you were unhappy. It's not so bad, YN. He quietly attempted to cheer you up, giving a small fragment of a smile. It was in good fun. A little. You only gave him a pitiful stare, making his, once thought to be dead, heart clench tightly in his chest. What was it about this time, Jack? You asked quietly. Mistletoe. Jack gave you an immediate, honest response. Did he mention how much he loathed the way you had that kind of effect on him when you were upset? You made him so much better than he had ever thought he was meant to be. And though he loved that about you, he didn't like how easy it was for you to play him right into your palms. He probably didn't even know it. You gave him a bewildered look. Where the fuck did you guys even get a mistletoe? Bonnie stole it. Jack shrugged casually. I had no part in it. Why would he even need? He wanted to kiss you. You looked away. Yet again, another fight solely over you. It was ridiculous, and you hated it. You made it very clear that you'd be there for all of them when they needed you, but no one ever wanted to share you. As their first and only friend, you were a treasure that was immeasurable in their eyes, irreplaceable. There would never be another YN. Never. How did it end up here? Looking up to Jack with insight curiosity, you saw him both surprised and honestly flustered. It was weird to see him like that. A faint blush covered his pale cheeks as he stared up to the ceiling in disbelief. Following his gaze, your eyes landed on the mistletoe hanging above both you and Jack. "I- Is that the mistletoe?" You questioned quietly, your voice cracking slightly because of how nervous you were. Yes, he whispered. And to think I got Bonbon's blood all over my clothes for nothing. What was that? Nothing. You need to be concerned about. With no, it's crazy. With no other words between you, Jack kissed you passionately underneath the mistletoe, and you happily reciprocated. Jack won the mistletoe war. I believe the last one is Cece chat. Cece? Ryan, stand here, right now. For what? You questioned, slightly afraid out of character grin on her face. She held up her prize above the two of you, and you looked up to see that she was holding mistletoe, the mistletoe she'd won in the fight. Kissing you fiercely underneath it, you shyly reciprocated it. Cece won the mistletoe war. Girl, that ain't on period. What is? I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Um, oh my goodness. Okay, twin. All right. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna read one or two more chapters before we kind of slow the pace down and kind of end it. We're gonna see about that. But yeah, that was a holiday special. Um, not combining with currentness. So, yay. All right, now we is back in our current timeline with the whole thing we're going through. Drink water, y'all. And stay hydrated. Anyways, chapter 32. And then basically the author was like, you guys are gonna hate me after this chapter. You're either gonna cry or rage at me so freaking hard, possibly even both. And then basically that's for the plot. Y'all don't, whatever happens, happens, twins. Oh, this is a whole long note. Oh my. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. Foxy's POV. The first thing I noticed when I woke up, everything fucking hurts. Though the pain from my wounds was slightly dulled, my entire body still ached. The slashes along my back never felt I felt like they were on fire, like they were burning. I had to keep from letting out a wince as I shifted position, laying on my stomach so that the fan could maybe somehow soothe the pain from my wounds. The blankets were down by my hips, and the light t-shirt I wore let the cold air seep through and to the wound in a way that was pretty relaxing. Aside from my back, though, I felt cold. It wasn't that the temperature of the room itself was less than comfortable, but I felt cold, as if all my blood was freezing, and little ice shards were prancing around in my veins. It was a strange feeling that I couldn't shake off. The feeling gave way to an unwelcome anxiety, and my eyes opened wide as I recognized the feeling. Sort of empty, like something was missing. It was exactly what it felt like when wine wasn't with me. Forcing myself up on my hands, I took a good long look around the room. It was fairly dark, and the only light that came was from underneath the door. Wine wasn't here. Despite my aches and pains, and as much as my body protested, I got out of bed, walking straight for the door. I was hit by another shot of cold air as I opened into the hallway. A small lamp was on a ways down the hall, making the light that seeped into the room before, which was the light that seeped into the room before, excuse me. As I made my way down the hall, I looked into every single room looking for her. In every room I saw she wasn't in made the ice shards more active. The bitter cold I felt was now starting to inspire more pain than I needed. As I searched her room, I noticed the wide open door, and it immediately sent my nerves into overdrive. I jumped to conclusions like I always did, and I checked inside to see if she was sleeping, only to find that the bed was empty. The clock on her bedside showed that it was 1:37 a.m. Wine shift started at 12. Just the thought of her being alone with the toys made me want to curl up and die out of sheer horror. And it was late. Over an hour past the time her shift had started. If she was really there, she could already be dead. With that thought just in my head, my two legs moved without command, running towards the kitchen with nothing but her on my mind. Immediately I went over to the place Wine normally leaves her keys, only to find them missing. I looked out the kitchen window. I saw her driveway was empty. Her car wasn't there. Wine was at the pizzeria by herself. I ran over to open the door, nearly pulling it off its hinges by the doorknob, before I realized something. She wouldn't go by herself, would she? There was a good chance that Polly was with her. As relieved as I was to remember that, I also realized something else. My shoulder slumped slightly, an aggravated frown on my face. She was alone with that yellow fuckbear instead of me. I wallowed in that for a second, before sighing and being grateful that she was safe. Rolling my eyes at the thought of them being alone together, I decided to head on to the pizzeria anyway to meet up with them. Foxy, where the hell are you going at this time of night? Wine's gonna be sick with worry if you aren't in bed when she wakes up and sees you missing. Goldie. I turned around slowly, fixing my gaze on the blonde. His hair disheveled from sleep and the bags under his eyes, and a usual scowl on his face. He couldn't be. Holy shit. I mumbled in disbelief, pointing a shaky finger at him. Did you just wake up? He rolled his eyes. Yeah, I did. No thanks to you making so much goddamn noise. Wine's at the pizzeria. Alone? He froze, giving me a worried gaze. What time is it? God damn it! I roared, stomping up to him and grabbing his shirt collar tightly. I thought you were with her, I growled. Why the hell were you asleep? Goldie's gaze hardened into a glare, his eyes changing color from their usual red blue to a crimson red. She was with you, he hissed out lowly. Why didn't you stop her? Me? I let out a dry laugh. Don't pin this on me, damn it. You should have been watching over her. Goldie growled, throwing my hands off his shirt in a fury. He looked like he was ready for a fight, but so was I. The sound of a phone ringing caught us both off guard, and we diverted our attention away from each other for a moment to see who was calling. Both of us hoping it would be YN. Goldie ended up picking up the phone and putting it into his ear, on his ear. Come on now. Hello? As soon as I realized the one was calling was Mike, I rolled my eyes and left Goldie to deal with him. I looked away, not interested in anything that dumbass had to say, before landing my gaze on the kitchen table, particularly on a small handwritten note on top of it. Picking up Picking it up with my hands, I recognized Wine's handwriting almost immediately, and I began to read the note in my head. I'm going to work tonight. Sorry, you two, but there's something I have to do. If you end up waking up while I'm gone, please don't worry. I'm fine. I'll be back soon. You don't need to come after me. While I'm gone, I'd really like it if you two just catch up on your rest for me. I think you both need it after all that's happened. I'll make you breakfast as an apology in the morning. YN. What a sweetheart she is, twin. Or what a sweetheart we are. Yeah, that sounds about right. um, what do you mean YN's not in the office with you? I looked over to Goldie, only to find him arguing over the phone with Schmidt. I walked over to him, and he rolled his eyes, putting the phone on the speaker for me to hear. Mine's fine, Schmidt scoffed, but he's with the marionette right now. With Jack? He's fucking dead when I get there. They seem to be getting along, but Jeremy and I are a little worried something might happen, he continued. We were wondering if any of you new freaks knew about it. Goldie and I looked at each other knowingly, and he hung up on the phone, much to a shouting and cursing Schmidt's displeasure. Only for Wyan's sake am I not going to send you to hell tonight, Fox. He hissed. His eyes turned to their normal hue. I could say the same for you, Blondie. I taunted back. But just because I'm stuck with you for her sake doesn't mean you'll get any special treatment from me. He narrowed his eyes at me. They flashed red for a moment before going back to blue. I wouldn't dream of it. Your POV. So, do you have any clues where the other toys might be? You asked curiously, and much more hopefully than before. You'd successfully gone through to Jack, and you two were now standing in front of the main stage talking. As it turns out, he was more than willing to answer any question you asked after you both gotten out of the box. With his eccentric personality back, of course. Please, he rolled his eyes playfully. I know everything that goes on in here. Have a little more faith in me, will you? I'll show you where they are. Really? You chimed happily, eyes sparkling. Thank you so much. He grinned at you, holding his head high. It's no wonder that he'd claimed his old personality so quickly. You'd been feeding his ego since the very second you kissed him back. The very same cheery, cocky little bastard that you'd known since day one was back. And you're pretty damn sure he wasn't leaving again. But this time, however, he wasn't an enemy. Follow me, little ballerina. He called you by your old nickname once again, and this time you didn't mind. He beckoned you to follow him with his hand, and you trailed eagerly as he walked down another hallway. You were more than excited to see the real toys again. Even the tiniest shred of doubt or anxiety was reduced to dust as you were finally as you were finally getting close to settling things once and for all with all of them. Your encounter with Jack gave you so much hope, it even baffled you. You were literally a kid on a sugar high right about now. Wandering through the hall, humming softly and happily as you were lost in your thoughts, you could only think of the toys. Jack would help you explain. He'd help you get through to them. Slowly but surely. Your thoughts drifted back to Mangle. You paused, standing still in the hallway, in the middle of the dark hallway. Mangle wasn't in the best condition when you found him, and neither was Jack. What would the other toys look like? Jack? You questioned, this time quietly. His halt he halted his stride, turning back to you to look at you with curiosity. What is it? Are the others all right? You asked worriedly. Jack's cheery demeanor turned more serious. His lips set in a straight line. They're they're fine, YN. Just upset is all. Just upset. You echoed, more to yourself than anything. He gave a small sigh, then said in a low tone, Cece might not be in the best condition when you see her, though. Fred and Bonbon are perfectly fine, but Cece? What about Cece? You pressed on worriedly, walking up to Jack with bleeding eyes. Please tell me. He stared into your big orbs with a frown on his face, before looking away. I can't really tell you, YN. He sighed, every ounce of joy wiped clean off his face. Averting his gaze from you, he opted to look down the dark hallway in front of him. Jack's eyes narrowed suspiciously as something caught his eyes. So, I guess you've gotten him back now, too, huh? Jack mumbled, voice barely a whisper. Confused, you followed his gaze. Or at least, you tried. You heard his voice before you saw him. Just what the fuck do you think you're doing with YN, puppet? Foxy? The red-headed fox stepped out of the shadows and into your view. You didn't think you'd ever seen Foxy so angry before. His amber eyes burned a fiery gold, glaring daggers at Jack, who was standing a little too close to you for Foxy's liking. You would have said something to calm him down, but you were too confused. You thought Foxy would at least thank Jack for saving you like he had asked him to, but he looked more furious than anything. Jack wouldn't be getting any thanks from Foxy anytime soon. You shook your head, passing Foxy's hostile behavior as off of oh my god, off as jealousy, and stepped forwards to talk with him. Before you could open your mouth, Foxy's gaze shifted to you, a look on his face that meant no nonsense. Get away from YN. He was not taking no for an answer. But you were not a pushover. I'm not a child, was the first sentence to leave your mouth. Your eyes narrowed angrily at the redhead. So don't you dare treat me as one, Foxy. Foxy sent you a slight glare. I know that, YN. You'd only from him. Jack was silent, choosing to stay out of the conversation. He didn't know why. You sent Jack a curious glance, only to find him looking down, his dark bangs hiding his face. He didn't like the fact that the other original was here again. When Mangle saw you with Goldie, he was angry, but Jack was very passive. He had already given up his happiness, and he didn't like it, but he didn't care enough to say anything to try and win you over. He knew the originals would always hold that special place in your heart that he wouldn't. He knew, so he just had given up. The sight of just how defeated Jack looked made you want to punch Foxy, despite how hurt he still was. What right did he have to steal the happiness of someone who worked so hard just to to get it, bruh? He earned it. Turning back to Foxy with a scowl on your face, you clenched your fist tightly by your side. Foxy? You were furious. Your dangerous tone and venom-laced words honestly frightened the fox in front of you. I am so fucking sick of all of this possessive bullshit. I'm sick of it. Do you hear me? Like a child being scolded by their mother, Foxy stood silent while you continued, but it did not break his gaze with you. I would probably be in the very same place as Chica, Freddy, and Bonnie right now had it not been for Jack and the other toys saving me from Springtrap. How many times how many times had you explained that already? Before you could finish, Foxy interrupted you, his golden eyes holding nothing but unrelenting fury in them. That's a total fucking lie. How could you believe that bullshit? What reason could he have to save you when all he's ever done is try to take advantage of you? He's probably had you under his another fucking drug to make you believe that. Shut up. That's crazy. Oh my god, I'm breaking character already. Your voice cracked at the end of your sentence, and Foxy was caught off guard as he noticed your teary eyes. Even with Mike and Jeremy, the originals had always had to make hold on. The originals always had to make you know that you were their friend and theirs alone. They nearly killed the poor guys plenty of times before, only because you spoke to them, you so much as spoke to them. You were their only friend, and they were your only friends. Foxy had just gotten back, and he wasn't even close to being healed. Yet here he was, being a jealous asshole again, and trying to pick a fight. Could you just stop for once? You begged, your voice strained. I'm so tired of all this. I'm just done, okay? Foxy was silent. Like, that's literally insane. Oh my god. Foxy was silent. He didn't know what to say. Just one look at your teary face was all that made his words catch up in his throat. You had so much power over him, and you absolutely had no clue. One look at his flustered face made you seethe with anger. I'm not interested in anything you have to say. Just drop it and go back home. He didn't even try to call after you as you turned and stormed out of the room. Foxy's POV. He looked like she looked like she was gonna cry. Why did she look like that over somebody like him? Watching her silhouette fade into the darkness of the hall. Oh my god, I hear my cat. Hold on, guys. Ay ay ay. It's literally crazy work. Poor little guy. I'll get him in here, so guys, don't worry. Um, she was mad at me. She was really mad. But why? I turned back to look at Jack with a scowl on my face. The bastard was still standing there, with his head down and gaze at the floor, like I was supposed to feel sorry for him. All I wanted to do was rip his head off his shoulders and feed his limbs to the crows in the back alley behind the pizzeria. Well, I snarled, my teeth gritting against each other harshly. Don't you have anything to say to me? He looked back at he l- Jack looked up at me finally, and I understood the reason why he was hiding his face now. He was smirking. His violet eyes glinted in the dark, no ounce of regret or compassion left in them. Not that ever was in the first place. He stopped. He stopped, slumping over, standing up to his full height, leaning back, sliding, sighting, with that malicious grin that never left leaving his face. He put his hands in his hoodie pockets. His entire demeanor went back the way he was on night one, cocky and demonically sinister. Caught me. Jack let out a low chuckle. Such a shame Wyan doesn't have that kind of intuition, isn't it? What the fuck did you do? I growled, baring my teeth at him like a feral wolf. Jack's gaze drifted to the hallway where Wyan went down, and he let out a scoff, his smirk growing wider. Has she always been an idiot? Before I could even open my mouth, Jack bursted out laughing, holding his stomach and hunching over on his knees. He was standing right in front of me, laughing at my princess, who was crying for him, and I would make him suffer. All I had to do. He was breathless, still laughing like the psychopath he was tell her that you, her royal little guard dog, had begged us with his last breath to save her from Springtrap, and she actually fucking fought it! Red. Red was the only thing I could see. His red blood staining the pizzeria walls, the floor, even the goddamn ceiling. By the end of the night, he be nothing but a memory, and I'd make sure of it. Hey, he calls, snapping me out of my thoughts. I sent him a glare that should have burned him to ashes. He only grinned. Did I tell you the dumb bitch kissed me? It was over. Jack was going to die tonight, and nothing on this worthless earth could save him. I lunged for him. Ah, no, that was even a shock for me. The fuck? We got potentially betrayed? That is literally insane work. Oh my god, bruh. That is literally insane work. Oh my god. Literally insane work, chat. Literally insane work. I'm just like, what could have like got I, that is like That is something that like that's some like that's some evil villain type thinking right there. That's some evil type like what does he have planned? What does he have planned now? Are the other toys aware of this? It's literally oh my god. Well, you know, never have I ever, chat. Never have I ever. So interesting. So interesting. And what's even crazier is that we only read what? About 4 chapters, if I counted correct. Oh my goodness. I would read one more chapter if I could, which would be chapter 33, but I literally do not have the vocal cords for this. So sadly, I am not able to, because I'm telling you, sickness hits you hard, it hits you hard. But we might go live tomorrow, just depends. We'll see. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy this though. And I hope that we, at least push through some chapters because as you can see, this thing is quite mighty long. Um, so that whole little thing with the marionette, I did not expect at all. Didn't expect it to the point where I'm even like, I was reading, I was like, what? How dare he do this to us? What? What? It was crazy work, chat. Crazy work. I don't know. I think it's literally insane. So, I don't know what's gonna happen next. I don't know if she's gonna find out the truth. I don't know. I don't know. But we will excuse me. Not water, but we will find out soon enough, chat. Thank you to for everybody who like kind of like really joined and like was real curious on this whole little thing that we're doing. I'm trying to make this like a little more often, maybe like once a month because to be real with you, like this would probably help with more fan fictions kind of getting more pushed out there and to kind of get them like more like on the roll and give people opportunity to kind of be like, oh my gosh, she's reading it live. Yeah. So that would be fun. I can't wait to do this with like slashers, ex listener, because I know a lot of people are like wanting the whole like the next because we're at book 3. There's a whole new book 4 in it, and it's literally insane. As for who was the little artiste in this beach? Who was the little artiste? I'm pretty sure Carl. Okay, girlfriend. So, Carl, if you do end up doing the drawing with the cute little butterfish or whatever idea you have, magnificent. I bet it will be, or it is, if you're in the process of doing that beautiful art. Would you please tag me or send me a quick little picture through my social medias? They are in the description down below. Depending if you're seeing this like in the portrait live or in like vertical. Either way, same thing. Much appreciated either way. Also, hi Sonic Speed. Hello. Welcome and soon enough like trying to go into the end of it, I guess. Because we're practically at the end of this interesting live that I managed to read 4 chapters of this very, very long story that I did not anticipate to be this long. But it's okay. Better, I think, be alive than an actual like video, because that'd be a whole lot to edit for me. But it's okay. I think it's fun reading it live and whatnot, and you kind of can see how I like kind of go through the process of reading these stories and blah blah blah. Anywho, guys, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, wherever y'all are. Please stay warm. If you're sick, take your medication, stay hydrated, eat your favorite snack, whatever you gotta do to help yourself out. Um, honestly do appreciate you guys' like viewership, your comments. I really do appreciate it. Supports the channel, boosts the video and whatnot. My voice is starting to like be like anyways. Anyways, thank you so much guys. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye and peace for now, y'all.